All right, what's going on, friends? Sean Doc coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Monty VanderMay. He's a master's athlete that's just signed up for technical coaching membership over on www.gripandrep.co. All right, so if you guys are interested in technical coaching, throws programming, lifting programming, go check out my website. And if you sign up for one of the monthly coaching packages, you get a free in-depth technical analysis to get you started, so that way you know what to work on. All right, so get to it. Competition season is here. There's no more time. You cannot delay any further if you want to figure out what is going wrong with your technique. That way you can start dropping bombs later this season. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so yeah, Monty, Masters athlete, throwing the 6K here. This is from this past Saturday, and I gotta say he moves pretty well. I'd say this is I think he said his personal best in practice, just about 42 meters, and yeah, it's decent. It's pretty decent. Um, there's some small tweaks that could definitely be made to the orbit a little bit. It's a weird angle to kind of look at, but the more technical analyses I do, the better I get at looking at these odd angles of video, kind of identifying what might be going wrong. So yeah, overall though, I mean, 2 winds, 3 turns, 3 heels. Yeah, just some patience issues and posture issues. That's kind of what Monty kind of self-diagnosed as well. So let's just get into it. Let's break it down and see the finer details. The winds itself are okay. In the videos that you sent me, Monty, I think you sent me, I think 7 or 8 to take a look at. Some of them you do look like you force the winds a little bit, like you really force the hands from the high point down to the low point, trying to accelerate the hammer, which isn't wrong. I think you just be a little bit more smooth and fluid and relaxed with it. It does look a little bit forced occasionally. So if we go back to the start one more time, just take a look. I don't think this was. So you bring the hands forwards, yeah, just a little force in the hands, down. A little bit aggressive with the hands. Think about the winds. You just want to use them to set up the turns. It should be smooth, fluid, controlled kind of acceleration throughout the entire movement of the throw. You can feel the tension build smoothly throughout the winds and the entry and the turns all the way through the finish. It'll be a good throw. So just got to control that a little bit. Chill out a little bit, honestly. Outside of that, though, like I said, depending on how your shoulder mobility is, I know you said you've had some problems with that in the past. It might benefit you to try to keep your hands up a little bit more. As you can see, your hands kind of drop down around waist height. Try to keep them up at least chest level. Maybe even think about shoulder level, because you got to kind of think, you got to overdo it to kind of get where you want to be, at least in my opinion, where you should be. So hands could be up and out a little bit more. And then additionally, we've talked about your right hip not quite being under, and I think the place to start doing that is in the winds. So as you can see, you're just kind of standing here, and then as those hands kind of go down and the ball drops on you, you can see your chest kind of comes down a little bit. Hips are just a little bit back, just a little bit. And then same thing in the second wind. You see your hips are back behind you. Chest comes down a little bit as the hands go down. All right, so try to set your posture a little bit better in the winds. Get your hips underneath you, keep your chest up, don't bend forwards. All right, so if you flatten out the winds a little bit, get the ball up and out in front of you a little bit, it'll help you keep your posture tall, keep your hips underneath you, whereas if you let the ball drop, your chest is going to drop, your hips are going to kind of get pushed out behind you. So that's just for the winds. Then otherwise, in the entry, patience is kind of the big thing here. Like I said, I think the big goal for you should be rhythm. You can see, like I said, by forcing the hands a little bit in the winds, your left side's a little bit overactive in the entry as well. You force the ball down, your head's turning, and your left side is turning ahead as well. Your patience after that is pretty good. Like you're letting the ball come through 0, both feet are on the ground, you get to 90, relatively long double support. You're waiting for the ball. You're more or less with it towards the end of double support, but there's still a little bit of leading going on with this left side. And I think that does come as a result of this sort of movement right there, where you kind of jerk the left side ahead just a little bit, and then that's going to cause some issues later on in the throw. Otherwise, I think the goal is to kind of stay down on the legs a little bit. As you can see, you're going to rise up a little bit. You can see the hips, the shoulders, everything rise up as the ball is rising up. You see this left leg straighten out, and then you catch a little bit higher, and then you drop with the hammer. All right, you need to be kind of doing the opposite, or at the very least, not standing up and not dropping. So, to go back a little bit again, if you drop with the hammer as it's in front of you, and then you rise with the hammer as it goes to the sector, you're going to kind of lose tension a little bit, and you're going to have to pull that left side more to keep up with it. So as the hammer is going left in the entry, try not to stand up. All right, don't straighten your legs out. Or better yet, think about standing up, but don't. You know, you need to put a little bit of pressure through the legs, but you don't actually want to extend the knee, the hip, the shoulders, all that stuff. You don't want to extend up like that. All right, that'll help keep you down a little bit, ground you a little bit sooner in the next turn. It's not like you catch late, but this dramatic separation, excuse me, the dramatic separation between the kind of left side and the hammer and the hips and all that stuff feels good, I'm sure, and like this is a pretty stable catch, it looks like. But then the tendency from here is going to be to pull that left side more, and you can see that is the tendency. The left side pulls a little bit more. The hips aren't quite underneath you. This is maybe a good angle to actually see if the hip is underneath you or not, because you can see catch. And then as you go back, that right hip is behind you. Again, that left side is kind of pulling across. You can see a little tension in that right arm, so arms are a little bit tight. So you got to kind of think about, like I said, ball up and out away from the body. You could even think about kind of activating the triceps to straighten the arms out, perhaps. And then if you're more patient and you wait for the ball just a little bit longer, you won't pull the left side as much. So like I said, patience, rhythm, that's what it's all about. And then same thing again, left heel comes down, you're going to rise up just a little bit. And then since you're already kind of like maxing out this left leg, as you can see, it's almost straight. You really break posture here. Chest comes down big time, hips are way out back behind you. You can see this, you're kind of catching yourself on this right foot, this left foot's going to float. You catch, your chest is down, your eyes are down, your hips are back. Left side's going to pull to keep tension. Your hip is actually kind of working up into the ball pretty well here, but it's like trying to compensate, I guess. It's trying to fix the problems that were just caused previously. So you pull the left side, your right hip's working up, coming across the body more. Right elbow's bent, and then your left side's leaning again. You can see the head turning ahead. A lot of extension on that left leg again. Chest comes down, hips are down, and then you finish kind of forwards, funky a little bit around the left side. So yeah, it's small tweaks that you need to make, I think, in the winds and the entry. Like I said, set your posture. All right, yeah, let's go back to the start. Just talk through it one more time. Set your posture, get your hips underneath you, keep your chest up, try to get the ball up and out a little bit more in the winds. And then keep your hands up and out, especially as you go through here. Hands out away from the body, big circles with the hammer. Longer ball path means more tension, means you have to be more patient, but also means you're going to let the hammer do more work, which is going to make the throw easier on you, where I'm sure this felt strong based on what your body's doing, but you want to feel the hammer kind of doing most of the action. You want to feel like the hammer's kind of turning you. And then outside of that, get your hips underneath you, keep your chest up, and don't stand up, and just hold that position and let the hammer turn you. That's all it really is. I know it's easier said than done, much easier said than done, but yeah, small tweaks, and I think this will clean up a little bit, because the other throw you sent, actually, which wasn't, I think, the personal best, was a little bit better. Had a better connection, both feet were on the ground a little bit better direction, all that stuff. So just got to toe the line between, you know, feeling powerful and feeling strong, and then letting the hammer do the work. So yeah, dude. So Monty, let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me a text. If anybody else out there would like technical analysis or coaching or anything like that, go to my website, www.gripandrip.co. All right, go check it out. Go sign up now. Okay. Until next time, Sean Dunn signing off.